It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio with us today. We're going to sit down with the Coconino National Forest, talk about the wildfire season, things we can expect over the next few months, and then, of course, in the next spring when we'll have them back to talk about, the approaching wildfire season again. I have Coconino National Forest Deputy Forest Supervisor Michelle Pajwani. She's new to the area, so we're going to introduce you to her, and then Coconino National Forest spokesman Brady Smith, who, of course, joins us all the time and helps us out with these sort of things. Hello, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
Nice to have you here. So let's start with Michelle and find out just where have you been and how did you get here and what drew you here?
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me on. So, I've been here at the Coconino for about 4 months now, maybe a little over 4 months. I physically got to Flagstaff in July. And I came here from the Hoosier National Forest down in southern Indiana. Who knew there was a national forest in Indiana, right? There's only one, and it's really small. And I lived right on the Ohio border for about 2.5 years as a district ranger down there.
Really? The Hoosier Forest, there's only one forest, national forest in all of Indiana?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
About 200,000 acres. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
200,000 acres, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, really small forest, but it was really an awesome forest family down there. And so anyways, did really good work there. And then the only other forest that I was on was the Cornville National Forest in Washington, Northeast Washington. So I was there for about 3 years as well. So I've been with many agencies. I'm happy to be back with the National Forest Service. I was, originally I'm a veteran of the United States Air Force.
Oh.
Did about 4.5 years over 9/11.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you. And Brady also is a fellow veteran of mine.
Right.
Yeah. And so I've worked in environmental conservation and land management for about 20 years. After the Air Force, I decided I didn't want to work on aircraft anymore. I was an aircraft mechanic during that. Totally switched gears and went into environmental science and environmental conservation. So living in, Montana, Alaska. I worked in Hawaii for the Navy as an environmental land manager for a little while. It's really fun. And all over the place. So now I'm here in the Southwest. I've never lived in the Southwest, so this is my first time.
So what brought you out here, though? What made you say, I want to come out to the Southwest?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a good question. The Coconino has a reputation, a good one, a good image, a good reputation, and everybody in the Forest Service knows about the Coconino, and that was one of the things that drew me. There's a couple things, working with the tribes, because like I said, living in Alaska, I worked really closely with the tribes, working in Alaska really closely with the natives there, and just really love that sort of work. And I know that it's very prominent and just exciting, the type of things that we get to do out here working with the tribes. So that was one of the things. Also, I used to know Laura Jo West. I worked with her actually on the Colville, and she's our forest supervisor. And so just getting back to at least someone I knew out here and then meeting, the staff out here, they've just been so welcoming and so amazing. And again, I think just coming to the Southwest is, so I've lived all over 13 different states, and I've never lived in the Southwest, so why not, right? I wanted to broaden my horizons, figure out what's going on down here, really get that experience in this kind of natural resource environment, and obviously the different the different ecosystems and everything. It's totally different. So just love it. Yeah.
Now you have a 9/11-year-old. How do they feel about moving down here? Are they pretty excited about being here?
Well, so I have a boy and a girl, 9 and 11, Jackson and Gianna, and they were sad because they're at their age that, it's all about friends.
Right.
But now, and my husband's a teacher, so that was kind of a good thing to, have him be there to support them. But yeah, they're happy now. They both have friends. They're both ingrained, or slowly getting ingrained, and so they're loving it.
Awesome.
And we do a lot of adventures. We go hiking, we go camping, we go kayaking, biking, all of those things. So we keep them active.
That's excellent. Now, if you arrived here in July, that means you got here when the wildfire season was starting to taper down. We've stopped saying that maybe I should stop saying wildfire season altogether for the state of Arizona, because the whole year it's always wildfire season in Arizona. We've kind of switched to that tactic of talk for that. But you must have gotten here at the time when you were seeing some pretty major fires that had been going on, and just the chaos that goes along with that. And then you've seen this, the monsoon came in with, this is your first monsoon, I would imagine, as well. So you got to see like the largest monsoon the state has ever had, or the second largest. So what do you think of the place now? I mean, it was pretty busy summer.
It was amazing. So
yeah.
I got here, and we're in a full forest closure, which Brady will tell you we hadn't been in since 2006. And I'll tell you, Paul, we couldn't have done it, and how successful we were with that forest closure and keeping the public safe and keeping the resources as intact as possible without our helps from the tribes, from our partners, from the county, from the state, all the law enforcement. It was an amazing effort, and people around the whole Forest Service system are looking at us saying, wow, how did you guys do that? Like, what's your notes? Like, give us the notes on this, because you did an amazing implementation. And like I said, we couldn't have done it without all the help. And so yeah, just getting here, I know my boss, I wasn't here yet, and she's like, you better get here. And I'm traveling across the country,
right,
with my 2 dogs, my kids, my husband, and an RV from Indiana to here during the wildfires. And then I get here, and they're like, "Thank goodness you're here."
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was amazing. And then yeah, like you said, the monsoons. Still figuring that out, right? As far as the flooding and how we're mitigating all those effects. So.
Yeah, it has been one heck of a year. I've never had such huge wildfires to impact our area, and then the monsoon to follow right behind it. We saw something similar to it several years back with the Schultz fire just north of Flagstaff there, but nothing since then. But this one was, we had some very devastating wildfires this year. We got to take our first break. New Deputy Forest Supervisor for the Coconino National Forest, Michelle Pajwani, is in studio with us today. Also, Coconino National Forest spokesman, who you're familiar with, Brady Smith, too. Stick around. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Who doesn't dream of home improvements? Perhaps your kitchen, the real living room. Maybe the bathroom, where you bookend your day. Langstrand Contracting is your one-stop shop from tear down to finishing touches. With 35 years of experience, Chris and his team will work with you to match your family's style and budget. Call Langstrand Contracting today for guidance in bringing your vision to life.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family friendly, open 11:30 to 9. Late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Your carpet is the largest air filter in your home, trapping dust, dirt, and germs from the air that your family members breathe, even the furriest ones.
That's why it's important to keep your carpet and tile clean and hygienic with regular cleanings by ZeroRez. ZeroRez uses state-of-the-art technology and ZR water, not soap or harsh chemicals, so zero residue is left on your home surfaces.
Schedule your appointment today, because a clean home is a healthy home. Visit ZeroResNorthernArizona.com.
The mouth is the gateway to the digestive system. Studies indicate a correlation between oral health and full body health. Regular cleanings and checkups can help protect you. New patients are welcome at Arizona Smile Designers in Cottonwood. There's a full smile worth of services all offered under one roof. Whitening and cosmetic to implants and smile reconstruction. Find out more or request an appointment online at azsmiledesigners.com.
Welcome back to Countywide. I forgot to give you a website before we took the break. CoconinoNationalForest.us. CoconinoNationalForest.us. We have Deputy Forest Supervisor Michelle Padjwani with us today, as well as Forest Spokesman Brady Smith. Okay, Brady, hot seat. Let's go back and talk about the Raphael Fire. I'm going to be doing a show with Brian Steinhardt, who also works for Prescott and Coconino National Forest, and it has been... The wildfire season this year was just so different from years past because there were so many, as I mentioned earlier, evacuations, pre-evacuations. They were changing so rapidly that it got to the point where something that I used to be able to announce, it wasn't that way anymore. It was like, okay, if you need to know who's in place and out of place and who's evacuated, not evacuated, the best bet is to go to these sites to get the information, because it would literally take me 3 to 5 minutes every newscast just to repeat all that information. The Raphael Fire was, take us back and remind us of this. So it was 5 lightning strikes, I believe. Was it 5 fires that combined?
Yeah, there was 5 that originated on the Prescott, I believe on June 18th. And that was it started out roughly about 1,000 acres, but June 20th was a major push. We had like 33-mile-per-hour gusts going on. It grew 17,000 acres in one day on that day. And so that was the largest growth it had throughout the fire. And so that was going... that started in the midst of the Backbone Fire, which was another Type 1 fire that was originated on the Coconino from lightning. Prior to that, we'd had, the Cornville Fire that was like right in the middle of Cornville. And it was only, it wasn't a large fire per se compared to these others, but the fact that it was in the middle of a community and it was still very hot and very dry was scary. I look back in the past in the Coconino, at least since I got here in 2008, we averaged a Type 1 fire on our forest about every 4 years. 2010 was the Schultz Fire, and then we had another one in 2014, and then the Tinder Fire in 2018. But then, this year we had a Type 1 fire start on us, and then a Type 1 fire come on to us. Actually came onto 3 forests, started on the Prescott, the Raphael started on the Prescott, came onto the Coconino, went on to the Kaibab, and it burned roughly 20-odd thousand acres on each of those forests. So you had a lot of people involved and on multiple fires doing a lot of work and a lot of smoke in the air. And like you said, Strawberry was evacuated on the Backbone. And then we had areas above the Mogollon Rim that were above the Raphael Fire that were evacuated or under evacuation order at some time. So there was a lot of activity this year. It surprised me very much. And then how dry we've been, I just thought, we're not going to get a monsoon season. And that really kind of scares me. And then we got this wallop of a monsoon that just came out of nowhere, and it's always good to see the rain, but the amount that we got was pretty staggering as well. I was talking to you earlier about the National Weather Service saying we had basically 200 to 500 year events to roll through northern Arizona, especially above Flagstaff, and so flooding was imminent no matter what. And so that's what led us to, after the Backbone and after the Raphael, closing down things like Sycamore Canyon and Fossil Creek to make sure that people weren't in those areas in case there was massive flooding through there.
Sure, yeah. And then you get the trees falling over because the root systems are gone underneath, and there's all kinds of hazards out there for sure. And the other flash flooding, there's another thing. The shots of the neighborhoods in Flagstaff, just that black, muddy water with trees and sticks and stuff flowing through there. It was unbelievable. Just an unbelievable year so far. Now, with the Raphael Fire and the other fires that we had, and then followed by this massive monsoon that we had this year, I've noticed that the Forest Service has put out quite a few We'll get them. We don't mention it every day and every time we get them, but forest roads that are opening and closing, and that seems to be something that is changing on a regular basis based on what kind of damage is being caused by the monsoon. Can you talk a little bit about road damage across the forest as well?
Yeah, you know, the Red Rock Ranger District is probably the one that goes through the most closures and opens in a short period of time. A lot of that water runoff from the Red Rocks comes down, and it will shut down, you know, one of their main roads, like the 525, say, because we've had extensive flooding through there and washouts, and so they'll shut that down for a day or two, and then we repair it, and then it'll open back up. Sometimes it's shut down for just a day, some of those areas in the Red Rock Ranger District. But across the board, we've had a lot of flooding. Of course, we've had a lot of travel, too, across all the districts because people are wanting to get out of their house. And I think now, probably more than any time in history that I can remember, you know, people have RVs and they're using their public lands quite a bit. And so you have more traffic, couple that with the weather that we've had, and you're going to run into times where you're going to have forest roads that are starting to begin to have ruts, and that's what we try to stay away from, which is why we go into seasonal road closures, because once you start to develop those ruts, it's very difficult unless you're going to have a grader go back through that and get rid of those ruts. And, you know, a lot of people think, well, why don't you just go back through and grade the road that I use all the time, or grade this road or that road? And, you know, we have, I think, somewhere upwards of 2,000 to 3,000 miles of roads on just the Coconino National Forest. We're almost 2 million acres. And we have funds basically that, excuse me, we have a finite amount of funds every year, you know, and part of that is the budget that we have to maintain roads. And it usually comes to maintaining about 500 miles worth of roads every year. And so if we have thousands of miles of roads, and then part of those 500 miles of roads that we maintain a year are always going to consist of some major roads that always have to be maintained. So
Sure.
That takes up some of that. And so we're always playing catch up to try to maintain roads the best we can. But the biggest help we get is from the public when, you know, if they're getting into really saturated roads, is to not go down that road and to get on solid ground, because one, you can get stuck, and we've had a lot of people do that. But two, you're going to damage it so that it won't be repaired probably for quite a while.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a good point to make right there too. And we should mention real quick too that winter forest road closures are going to be coming up soon, maybe sooner than later, just based on the amount of rain we're still getting right now.
Yeah, you know, it's going to depend a lot on the weather. Obviously, every year does it. That we don't go into seasonal road closures at a specific time each year and then come out of them at a specific time each year. So it's going to be really weather dependent. But when we see the winter weather really start to encroach and become regular, then we will go into our seasonal road closures, which closes down main networks of roads.
Okay. All right. Let's take our second break. Coconino National Forest Deputy Forest Supervisor, new to the area, Michelle Padjwani, and Coconino National Forest spokesman Brady Smith with us in studio today. Website is coconinonationalforest.us. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Who doesn't dream of home improvements? Perhaps your kitchen, the real living room. Maybe the bathroom, where you bookend your day. Langstrand Contracting is your one-stop shop from tear down to finishing touches. With 35 years of experience, Chris and his team will work with you to match your family's style and budget. Call Langstrand Contracting today for guidance in bringing your vision to life.
Your carpet is the largest air filter in your home, trapping dust, dirt, and germs from the air that your family members breathe, even the furriest ones.
That's why it's important to keep your carpet and tile clean and hygienic with regular cleanings by Zero-Res. Zero-Res uses state-of-the-art technology and ZR water, not soap or harsh chemicals, so zero residue is left on your home surfaces.
Schedule your appointment today because a clean home is a healthy home. Visit ZeroResNorthernArizona.com.
The mouth is the gateway to the digestive system. Studies indicate a correlation between oral health and full body health. Regular cleanings and checkups can help protect you. New patients are welcome at Arizona Smile Designers in Cottonwood. There's a full smile worth of services all offered under one roof. Whitening and cosmetic to implants and smile reconstruction. Find out more or request an appointment online at azsmiledesigners.com.
Terrifying jobs, high-flying linemen, take 3.
Josh, this is an absolutely terrifying job. Why do you do it?
It's a very demanding job, but very rewarding and exciting.
How much energy are you actually working with up there?
500,000 volts of electricity.
It's definitely not my line of work. Does anything shock you?
Yeah, distracted drivers terrify me.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a few minutes left of the program, so we're going to punch list a few more things. First of all, fall colors. Kaibab National Forest, Bob Lazy up there put out a press release last weekend that set up on the Kaibab Plateau. The aspen were already turning that beautiful golden yellow. So I'm imagining we're going to have an influx of people over the next at least couple of weeks, right, for the fall colors? How are we doing in Coconino National Forest?
Yeah, absolutely. As you can see from my background, I'm in Lockett Meadow currently, and enjoying the yellow that appears there. But yeah, we're going to have a lot in Lockett Meadow. But we also like to point people down to places off the Mogollon Rim, Forest Road 300, because there's a lot of beautiful colors down there. And we're trying to disperse people a little bit more because Lockett Meadow gets incredibly crowded. But yeah, they're on their way, and they usually peak around a week and a half into October.
It's definitely going to be happening fast. I noticed trees in Flagstaff now are already starting to turn, and I would highly recommend actually the Rim Road because they've got some nice elms and stuff back there too. So it's not just all yellow. It's you've got the oaks, you've got the aspen, you got the elms. It's all it's really beautiful back in there. So fall colors, they won't be around for long, and with the temperatures getting cold really fast, it probably will be a very short fall color season. Prescribed burning this fall, we have a bunch of those planned. The ground seems pretty appropriate for it.
Well, the prescribed burns, those are obviously going to be weather dependent too. We might have some pile burns. I know we're going to do a very small one down off of Mogollon Rim today in Bly Pit. It's like 2 acres, and it probably will put up a mountain of smoke for somebody to see it driving right by. But right now we're not implementing a normal prescribed fire fall season like we have done in the past. But it's going to be very weather dependent, and if we have some open opportunities, we'll likely pursue that. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Are we fired out this year? We're kind of fired out, aren't we? I mean, we're still fighting wildfires in California and Oregon and Montana and Idaho. It's just
Well, we have a lot of resources in different places too.
Yeah.
Well,
I understand.
That's what I wanted to say real quick too. I mean, and yes, so we are still in wildfire season out there in California, and a lot of our firefighters are still out there working, and this is the time of year that they are starting to fatigue. So just anyways, just wanted to mention that and give a shout out to those firefighters. So thank you.
With the shape I'm in, I've been fatigued like hours after starting one of those dang fires. Okay, and then the other thing, Coconino National Forest, it is so highly used. We got about a minute left in the program. It is so highly used, the Coconino National Forest, that trash at campsites and stuff is always an issue. So I've got to imagine we've still probably had a bit of that going on throughout the summer months and fall months. And then I want to remind Brady or Michelle, the winter snow play as well. If we do get enough snow for winter snow play, to take your trash with you.
Michelle, you want
to?
Whoever wants to jump in,
Go ahead, Brady.
Well, every year we have problem with trash. It's a never-ending problem that we're never-ending trying to educate the public on and keep those messages out there. We don't have trash services in the National Forest. There are personnel that eventually do, end up picking up the trash from time to time. And that takes away from their focus and program areas. So when we are stopping on the side of the road to go pick up trash that we see, that's going to impact the program areas that they're normally working on, which could be watershed restoration or trail maintenance or whatever it may be. But we don't have trash services. So if you come out to snow play or come out to play at all, at any time, we just ask that you take whatever you brought with you and not impact the forest in that way.
All right. Michelle, nice meeting you. Brady, good to see you again. That's all we got time for. Website is coconinonationalforest.us. That's today's countywide. As always, thank you so much for watching, listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.